Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Nathan ELEMENTofFROST, and we are back here yet again doing another episode review video for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead that aired yesterday on AMC, as everybody knows, April the 24th. This is Season 2, Episode 3. Again, trying to say the title of this episode, it is entitled Ouroboros, something like that. I don't know. It's one of them. I'm not too sure. If you guys know the pronunciation, let me know in the comment section below. I would be pretty intrigued, to see that. So, let me know. Anywho, as always, my reviews and everything like that do contain spoilers. So, for those who have not watched yesterday's episode of Fear the Walking Dead, which, by the way, was amazing. I liked it. It was one of the best episodes of the series so far. Very, very good, and I definitely recommend you watch it. It's definitely worth a watch 100%. It was really, really good. They always do contain spoilers, so like I said, if you guys haven't caught up, do not watch this video. I mean, it goes without saying. Why would you watch an episode review of an episode that you didn't watch? It doesn't make sense, right? But anywho, to get into things, the episode starts off actually in the middle of the ocean with a girl named Alex, and you may remember her if you guys watched Flight 462, the little mini-series they had going. Anyway, very, very cool character. I was personally under the impression that her name was Charlie, not Alex, but I'm not sure if they went with a different name or whatever. They changed things up last second. I don't know. But her name's Alex, okay? So she's basically in the ocean, and she's swimming to her wounded companion, which is Jake, which is actually the kid that was on the Flight 462, right? The kid. So he survived the crash of Flight 462 as well, but he's all burnt up. And he's fucked, man. You know what? He's honestly fucked. Okay, so she brings Jake to a raft with some other survivors. Tom, actually one of the survivors, smacks an infected passenger with an oar and pushes him overboard. Tom now tells Alex that Jake is basically dying and urges her, to kill him before he turns out of, mercy, right? And it totally makes sense, because Jake, even though he was a cool kid, we've seen a little bit of him on the plane, we've seen him help her out and everything like that. He's suffering at this point, I mean, honestly, he really, really is. And it sucks to sort of see him like that, especially for her. There's no way he's going to get better. He's completely, third-degree burns all over his face. And he's wreathing in pain, basically. And she thinks the best idea is to, sort of keep him alive and see what she can do for him. Because he helped her out on the plane. And I totally understand that point of view, but at the same time, it's pretty much a lost cause at this point, right? All he's gonna do is cost you guys medication and, survival supplies, and he's just sitting there in pain the entire time and can't be really any of use. There's a point where you gotta, consider mercy, right? I mean, honestly, that's my personal opinion out of it. But, anyway, Michael, like I said, the remaining survivor, encourages Alex to put Jake out of his misery. And that's basically where it cuts off right there, okay? So on the Abigail now, Strand actually tries to contact his people, or whoever it is, his contact, if you will, via satellite phone to confirm that he is coming, and the phone cuts out. We actually seen this in a sneak peek for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead, so if you guys watched my prediction video, you guys would have had a link to that in the description. So, yeah, that's that. Madison and Travis start to make love in their stateroom, if you will, and the boat creaks to a stop. Shit happens, and they basically go see what's going on and everything like that. So the boat comes to a stop suddenly, basically. It wasn't just coasting to a stop. It wasn't even a minute stop. They didn't mean to stop. It just the boat's breaking down. Okay, essentially is what's going on. Travis determines that the engine malfunctioned due to a blocked water intake, and he says the problem will require him to look under the boat. Madison urges him to wait until sunrise, but Strand and Travis agree that they cannot waste time. They have to get this boat moving, yada, yada, yada. So Travis actually puts on his scuba gear and dives into the water and swims to the water intake, and he actually sees an infected Michael, which, by the way, the other survivor in that little raft, near Alex and Jake, that other survivor that was hoping that she would put him out of his misery, he either died, from starvation or, something like that, Or she pushed him overboard. At this point, we really don't know, but he was actually stuck as a walker in the water intake down below the boat. Okay, so Travis seen the walker, and Michael basically attacked Travis, but he fortunately got out of the way. Obviously, after that, later in the engine room, Travis removes backed up sludge and everything like that from the filtration system, which, by the way, was fucking horrible looking. We can assume that it was just blood and guts and, everything like that from the walker. He informs Strand that basically, the repairs may take all day. He's an engineer, but he hasn't really dealt with a boat before, so, he actually needs to, figure things out. He has to work through it. And Strand basically snaps that they cannot wait this long. And, Travis basically points out, I'm the one fixing it here. You're going to wait as long as I have to make you wait. I'm going as fast as I can. There's nothing I can do. And Strand sort of notices that and gives him some reassurance that, I'm sorry that I snapped at you. And, we just can't be sitting around here all day just trying to get the boat fixed as fast as you possibly can. And that's where they end it, okay? So Daniel now notices that Ophelia's wound is infected now. Her gunshot wound, obviously, that happened back in season 1. She informs them that she ran out of antibiotics. He forbids her for asking Madison for some antibiotics, insisting that families must take care of themselves because blood is blood. Alicia now shows Madison a spot on shore that is littered with luggage from the plane wreck, which obviously, that's Alex's plane and Jake's plane. Alicia, Nick, and Chris insist on going to shore to gather supplies. Madison and Travis basically refuse to let them go, but Daniel offers to accompany them. And Alicia, Nick, and Chris originally, this is sort of where they stepped up to the plate and said, we're not asking for permission. We don't have to sit at the kids' table anymore. That was a really good way to put it, by the way, that Alicia, put it like that. Stop putting us at the kids' table. We can do what we have to do, in order to survive without your permission. And that's a very good point, honestly, it really, really is. Because this world now, requires you to make your own decisions. You can't rely on others to make your decisions for you because they're not always going to be around, for starters, and it's just a world now that you need to learn how to survive, and, one person cannot do it all, for their kids. They can't just protect their kids now in this world. They have to learn how to adapt, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. And I admire, Alicia for, sort of stepping up, if you will, to the plate, and, doing that. So, anyway, Daniel offers to accompany them. Alicia, Nick, and Chris board the Zodiac. Daniel tells Madison that Strand is planning to go to Baja and asks her to question Strand about his intentions. On shore now, Daniel tells everyone to stay within, his view as they gather supplies and everything like that. Travis scuba dives underwater again to work on the water intake. He had to go under there. He actually didn't clear the walker out. He sort of just left it, for now, while he was doing some things inside. Chris separates from the group and ventures inland a little bit to, see a part of the plane wreckage. Madison hears a noise and sees blood emerge from the spot in the water where Travis was actually swimming, and Michael's body floats to the surface after Travis plunges a knife through his eye socket. So, that scene, that part was a little nerve-wracking. I will 100% completely admit to you, that, he was swimming right there and blood just started to emerge to the surface. We didn't know what happened. Did the walker bite him? Did he get stuck in the water intake? Did, some sort of router? We didn't know what happened. There was a lot of blood. There really, really was. And, fortunately enough, it was just, it was the walker, right? So, good. Nick finds a knife in a suitcase and pockets it back on land. Chris discovers a wrecked plane, like I said, a hull, and basically enters the cabin. He taunts an infected and bludgeons it with a metal scrap. A man now actually still alive wakes up in a nearby row and begs for help. That part, coming up here in a second, this part was pretty nasty looking. They did an amazing job with the makeup in this episode, I'll tell you that right now, because this guy, this man that was still alive, asking for help, man, he was fucked. He was so fucked up. Madison confronts Strand about his secret plans and demands to know, what's in Baja. Strand reveals that he knows of a house with food and water and concrete walls, but explains that he has precious little time to get there. And she basically demands, that he take the entire group with him. And they cautiously, make a pact to trust each other. Okay, so Daniel now rummages through luggage in search of antibiotics for Ophelia, and Nick basically tells Daniel, that Ophelia needs amoxicillin or, oxidone or oxycodone, or I don't know, however the hell you pronounce them, I don't know. Daniel realizes that Chris is missing and goes to find him. So we actually get to see, Nick's experience in the drug world, because we all know he has that, right? We all know that Nick has that experience, and he's basically pushing that onto Daniel, helping him out. Basically saying, none of this shit's going to help Ophelia, and you need, this, and this, and so on, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. We sort of get to see another way, in Nick that he's very, very helpful to the group, really bad choices in his previous life, but turns out that it actually helps him pretty well, right? So Chris helps the plane survivor now out of his seat and drops him on his side. He tried to help him out of his seat and dropped him on his side. Unfortunately, Jesus, dude, there's a huge wound. And by wound, I mean his spine or his spleen, whatever you guys want to call it, literally parts of his vertebrae sticking out of his back. Like, literally just back cracked in half, and part of his vertebrae is just sticking out through his skin. Like, straight up, you could see the bone, and, fuck. It was really, really cool, because I liked, the makeup in it, because obviously it's fake. And, obviously 100%, that's, if you thought it was real. No, it was really, really amazing, though. They did a really good job on it, and I liked seeing that. It was definitely cool. He continues to beg for help, but he basically refuses water, and he wants Chris's help dying, basically. He's asking for help, everything like that, and knowing that the wound is fatal, Chris actually bashes the infected man in the head. Okay, so with that metal scrap. So he actually just killed a human being. Straight up, he killed a human being, but it was a mercy kill. That's something that Alex even wasn't able or willing to do, with Jake back on the raft. Daniel now looks for Chris on the beach. Alicia leaves Nick to look for Daniel and Chris. Nick finds a large stash of amoxicillin. And, he starts digging through it and everything like that. Madison informs Travis of Strand's Baja plans and tells him that the house is their best chance of survival. Travis basically balks, at trusting Strand, but Madison argues that they have little choice. Daniel runs into Alex in the beach, saying they're coming. That we've seen this in the beginning of the promo for last week's episode. Again, if you guys see my predictions, you would have had a link to this. And we actually get to see Alex, basically run into Daniel, say they're coming, run, and a large herd of infected appears in the distance. Very, very cool. This is like the biggest horde that we actually had to face so far in Fear the Walking Dead. And I loved it. You know what I mean? I really, really did. I loved it. So, very, very cool. Yeah. Alicia finds Chris by the airplane hull now. They hear a gunshot and they run off. And Daniel shoots at the approaching herd. Madison sees the herd, through her binoculars and tells Strand that they have to move. Daniel, Alex, and Alicia and Chris fight the herd on the beach now. Travis removes the last bit of sludge from the filtration system and fixes the engine. Strand powers up and everything like that. Everything's good to go with the boat now. Very, very nice, Travis. You did a wonderful job. The herd closes in on Daniel, Daniel, Alex, Alicia, and Chris. Alex is now with them, by the way. Alicia and Chris. Nick shows up basically covered in infected blood, just as I believe Alicia was about to be bit. Nick shows up covered, and I mean caked in infected blood, and helps fight off the infected, allowing the group to basically get enough time to escape. And as they flee, Nick realizes that the infected are not attacking him, even as he comes face to face with one. 100%. This was a very big moment of Fear the Walking Dead, and The Walking Dead, actually, because obviously back in season 1 of The Walking Dead, our normal survivors in The Walking Dead found this out. You can cover yourself in this blood, and you can 100% be masked to the walkers. We seen, Rick and Glenn do it when they were getting out of that department store and trying to get to the box car, the box truck, right? So we actually seen this again in this episode with Nick being the character to do it. And completely did it on mistake too, right? I totally forgot to mention that he fell off a cliff and into sort of an indentation, I guess, into the ground where a walker was actually stuck in what looked to be mud, like quicksand or, something like that, and was basically being eaten by crabs. Again, amazing makeup. Really, really cool scene with that walker being eaten by crabs and him eating crabs and everything like that. He stabs a walker, and a walker basically, again, falls off the cliff down at Nick, and that's basically where it cut off the scene for Nick. Right there is, that walker fell down. And that's the last we saw of Nick until he arrived, covered and caked in that infected blood, right? So, completely on accident, but a very big part of the episode nonetheless, right? So, we get to see that, Nick actually gets to find out that, the walkers, they don't pay attention to him with this blood on him, right? And the group actually now reaches the Zodiac and pushes off into the water. Alex tells Daniel that they need to make one stop. Strand looks through the binoculars and sees the Zodiac approaching with the yellow raft in tow. Back at the Abigail now, Madison informs the group that Strand has invited them to join him at a compound in Baja with food, power, and water. Strand refuses to let Alex and Jake board the ship, so Travis insists that they at least tow Alex's raft to San Diego, right? So Alex and Jake, unfortunately, they have to stay in the yellow raft, but they are being towed by the Abigail. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I sort of understand why Strand didn't want to let them on, right? I sort of do, in perspective of, keep your friends and your family safe from outsiders. I get that. But we all know that that's not why he's keeping them off the boat. Okay? We all know. He has an ulterior motive. We all know it. We just don't know what the hell it is yet. And Alicia and Madison bring water and blankets to Alex. Nick gives Ophelia rosary beads that he found on the beach. In the raft now, Alex cradles Jake and assures them that things are, currently as bad as they'll ever be. And each day he'll get better and better. It will never get worse, from here on out. And just as Madison was looking, off the side of the boat, or off the end of the boat, looking out towards the sun and everything like that, and, we get to see the yellow raft and everything like that from her perspective as well. Strand dashes outside, down the stairs, and cuts the raft loose from the back of the boat, and, sort of chops it off with a meat cleaver. And we literally just see Strand... We just saw Strand basically leave two people in a yellow raft with no food, no supplies, in the middle of the ocean. I really, really like Alex as a character. Jake would be cool as well, but he's pretty fucked at this point, right? He really, really is. And I don't think that he's going to survive. You know what I mean? I don't think that he will. Could be totally wrong. He could survive with, a huge burnt face or something like that. And, it would be really bad looking, after that heals up and everything like that. But, man, I'm telling you, Strand just left them in the middle of the ocean, cut the raft off. Madison objects, but it's too late and everything like that. The raft drifts behind as the Abigail cruises south. Strand returns to the wheelhouse in silence, not even acknowledging Madison. And, they just left Alex and Jake. I love Alex as a character. She knows what to do in this world. You know what I mean? She's a very, very strong character. She even knows something going on, in the plane in Flight 462. We get to see her know what's going on. She knows what to do. She knows, things are not right. She does what she has to do. You know what I mean? While all the other survivors were completely scared out of their minds and pissing their pants and screaming, she was the one there stabbing people in the head before they turn. Or when they turn, or, anything like that. And we just get to see her get abandoned. And that's essentially it. So I'm hoping, man, that is not the last time we see or hear from, of Alex. Fuck, man. Really good character. And if they just let her go like that, that's going to completely piss me off. It's 100%. Because I really did like the character of Charlie or Alex, whichever you guys want to call her. Whichever it is at this point, we don't know. Obviously we're essentially sure that it's Alex at this point, but I was under the impression again that it was Charlie. Maybe not, though. I don't know. You know what? I have no idea. anyway, that's that. We get to see them, abandon Alex and everything like that. And I wonder if, Madison and everything like that, or Travis going to go back for them. What's going to happen? Are they going to eventually float to shore? They're going to eventually meet back up? Because she was supposed to join the cast, right? I mean, there was supposed to be one person from Flight 462 joining the cast of Fear the Walking Dead. And, that was this episode, right? And Strand just basically said no, essentially. And, it sucks. Maybe it still could happen. This could be her joining the group, basically introducing herself. Because it was revealed that only one character was supposed to survive, so maybe Jake will die out the next time we see her. We just don't know at this point, right? We have no idea. So, anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, the episode this week. I thought it was amazing. One of the best episodes we had so far. It was Season 2, Episode 3, Ouroboros, or again, whatever the hell you want to call it. A very, very eye-pleasing title for next week's episode. Season 2, Episode 4, entitled Blood in the Streets. A lot easier to say and pronounce. So hopefully you guys will be tuning into my prediction video this Thursday here on my channel. What would it be? The 28th of April. So yeah, May 1st is the next episode of Fear the Walking Dead. Hopefully you guys will be tuning in. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now, everybody.